Welcome to Wake Nation, the first and only fan-fueled YouTube channel dedicated to everything Wake Forest athletics. I am your co-host, Josh Chilton, here with my brother, Shane Chilton, to celebrate the exercising of our second half demons as the Demon Deacons pull out the W when it looked like things were going to fall apart. And when Claiborne went out and when Ashford was playing obviously hurt and missing some throws, despite all of that, we were able to pull out the victory. And we have to give a credit. Sorry for that sound bite, real quick. I just needed the link to share this in a couple places. Shane, how are you feeling about this win?
I'm feeling good, man. We got the W. First ACC win. I mean, can you not be happy right now? Like, we finally finished it out in the second half. Like, played another strong first half. Looked really, really good in the first quarter, second quarter, and we finally finished the job. So I'm thinking we can compete really with any ACC team, which I don't know if you agree with that, but it's giving me some confidence right now.
I mean, if you think about it, with the trauma of last week, we could, we should be. I mean, we should just say it. We should be not 3-2. We should be 4-1, and we should be, instead of 1-2 in the ACC, we should be 2-1 in the ACC. Now, there's things we could critique, and there's things we could dissect, and there's plenty of time and space for us to do that. But the reality is, this team at full strength is something special. Like, this team in the past, we have not had the talent. Even when we had the coaching under Clausen, there was just a sense that the talent was not there to pull it off. And I think what is happening now is we're seeing that we have the talent. The penalties can be incredibly frustrating. The offsides, the things that we don't execute. Robbie was very inaccurate at points throughout the discussion or the game today, but we have the talent to pull this off. And so, for today, we should be celebrating the perseverance of the team who could have very easily let the trauma of the past determine the future. And instead, we went smart. We played the game a little conservatively at the end with Robbie, but I got to give a shout out to two things. The first thing I have to give a shout out to is Jamario Clements. He caught that screen pass on our final offensive drive, which ate up a lot of clock. Like, it ate up 6 minutes of clock when we needed it the most. Jamario Clements, who has not gotten a lot of playing time this year, we're down to Clark and Clements, and I'd still wish we would see some Tate Carney, but that's a whole nother discussion. Jamario Clements catches this quick screen from Robbie on a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and he should have been down in the backfield. He breaks a tackle and finds his way to that first down marker, which to me was the play of the game. And then the defense, my dad and I are sitting there watching it, and on that final drive when Virginia Tech has the ball, they're down 7, 2-minute drill, 2 minutes left to go, just the blitz, calling the blitz. Like, we weren't getting there like every time with 4 guys. And when we did seem to get there with 4 guys, drones is mobile enough to break contain and find ways to make a play. So it was bringing Prunty on that blitz on second down or third down. I can't remember which one, which really set it up for us to get the fourth down stop. And just the defense, I just can't shout them out enough because it was a similar story in terms of, okay, we put up 24 points in the first half and we only put up 6 in the second half. And then the defense just doing enough to get us over the top and just to get the win just feels so good. It feels like this was a season defining moment. Now we're going to have to do some health checkups. Lily went down, Demond, Robbie, who knows? But in terms of what this game meant for the season, winning the game in this hostile environment in Blacksburg, which was packed, like we pulled out the win. And that just, as a traumatized Deke fan, as a traumatized fan base, like just a little bit of joy. We gotta celebrate the joy that we get today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy as hell. I think I'll give credit where credit is due. The offensive play calling and opening it up with a couple trick plays, but not just the trick plays, just some of the schemes that they were running were much stronger, much better play calling, opened up the field a lot more. I think that Racanelli is like my hero. Okay, can we talk about him?
Dude.
He's my number 2 receiver now. So everyone else has been demoted. I can't take Chris Barnes off of the top of the pedestal, but Racanelli has shown he has consistent hands and hands that catch the ball when the game is on the line. And that is the type of receiver that I like. I also like that we were getting the ball to Falai more, and he really stepped up and was looking good. And Robbie was making some great passes. I mean, he was threading the needle. He threaded the needle multiple times to make some touchdown passes, to make some big time passes in crunch time moments. And, we've been hard on the offensive line on this channel, and it was deservedly so, but I felt like the offensive line played quite well and was opening up lanes for Ty Clark the third, because Claiborne was out. But shout out to Clark the third as well for a solid performance and really establishing himself as number 2 back that we can count on, that we don't have to get, Demond. He's kind of getting into that recurring injury space. And so if we can count on Clark to maybe take some snaps away, maybe that'll give Demond some space to heal. So really impressed with the offense. That has been the question mark on our podcast all season long. And it's nice to see them step up, play really well in the second half, and finish off the game. And also the offensive play calling I thought was very good. So,
yeah. And Blue Ridge commentary, the offensive play calling needs to be more adaptable. There's potential all over the place. Slight disagree on that. Like, I thought the offensive play calling was really a highlight of this game. The execution at times was lacking. But like if you think about like earlier in the game I think it was second quarter, we had this spread formation where we threw the ball laterally to Claiborne and he slipped up and it was like a 3-yard gain. But like if he doesn't slip up there, that's off to the races, and a huge game. And there were just a lot of other times where, if Robbie had seen an easier check down option or had completed, these open slants that we seem to be producing with our offensive play calling, obviously Robbie made some very clutch throws, and it can be very, frustrating, I guess, when he makes some throws where you're like, dang, like that is super special. And then he, is inaccurate at other times. I think it's a footwork thing that needs to be focused on. It's a, mechanical thing. He needs his feet to be set and aimed at the receiver he's going to throw it to. And I think that will fix a little bit of that. But, for all the gripes we can have about our offense, the last, 3 weeks against ACC opponents or against the last three ACC opponents, I think our final, point count against State was 24, which isn't great. I mean, but it's not like we're scoring 12 points. And then now in back-to-back games against ACC opponents, we're up at the 30-point range. So if you're averaging close to 30 points per game in ACC battles, you're giving yourself a chance to win every game. And the good news to me is that there's so much. The thing I do agree with about Blue Ridge commentaries comment is that there's so much potential. There's so much more that can be unlocked if we just tighten up the penalties and a few of Robbie's missed throws. Now, I don't know how to fix that other than a good quarterback coach working with him, which hopefully we're doing. But Robbie on the hobbled leg, he had injured his wrist at points of the game. I just thought, especially on that last drive, he showed a lot of heart because the coaches basically said, all right, it's quarterback power time, buddy. You're going to quarterback run this thing all the way down the field for the most part. A clutch catch by Hernandez and a few more other, Chris Barnes, a few other tricks here and there, and the Jamario Clements catch, obviously. But, kind of put it on Robbie's legs in the end, which is the strength that he brings. And just
Dicker too at half said that Robbie's really kind of a flow guy. So you really want to get him into a rhythm. I think rhythm may have been the word he actually used, but rhythm and flow is kind of, I use them synonymous. And I can really see that, like, when things are working with Robbie, he's invincible. He's Superman. He's, threading the needle and making plays left and right. And when things are not going as smoothly, he, and I don't even want to say this, but he pouts a little bit, and that's fine. I get it. It's tough. You're getting beat up. He took some really big hits in this game. So I don't want it to sound like I'm being negative about him, because I thought Robbie showed a lot of character in this game, fighting through those injuries. But yeah, it's just, I think it's all about getting him into the flow of the game and keeping that flow going. And so, however the offensive coordinators, can do that, whether it's like a couple of completions early on or like a couple of big runs to get the ball moving. I think that's the key to keeping our offense flowing.
Yeah, he's definitely a pitcher. To use a baseball analogy, he's a pitcher who needs to find his rhythm, or he's a streaky shooter in basketball, but you want him on your team because when he gets hot, he gets hot. Right. And yeah, thanks Blue Ridge commentary. He's the guy. This Stan Gardner has been asking us last show, asking me to rank Wake. We are what our record says at this point, but if I had to rank Wake in terms of like what are we as an ACC team, I would say we are a middle of the pack ACC team. We are not in the bottom five. We are closer to a middle of the pack ACC team with the potential to go higher. You want to get in. Scott Jones had a comment. Great job by the defense heading or keeping Virginia Tech to the field goals. Yeah, like the defense bent its back a couple times. Like when everything was on the line and they had to get these stops to force these field goals. Like they had to come up.
This was my type of game. There was some hard hitting in this game. I really enjoyed it. They were definitely, knocking heads. Prunty, man, what an absolute stud. He was killing it. Love seeing that. And so, I agree. The defense did play well.
And it was actually smart that Prunty kind of grabbed Donovan Green on when they call pass interference late, because I think without doing that, Donovan Green comes down with that ball and they're on the 3-yard line and they score a touchdown. And with the college rules, pass interference is 15 yards. And so grabbing him was actually the smart play. He didn't like that they called pass interference on him, but just kind of locking up with him a little bit, making sure he doesn't make the catch right there at the goal line was huge. I'm trying to stay attuned to the Wake Forest Athletics page to see if we get a live press conference. If we get that live press conference, guys, we'll stream it with you. You can watch it with us. Blue Ridge.
Mari Stevenson played well also. Shout out to him. It's nice to see our DBs stepping up.
Yeah. Our DBs are good. Our linebackers are fast. Like Aiden Hall made a play where he ran a guy down where I was just like, that had to be a DB. And then they were like, no, Aiden Hall on the tackle. I was like, geez, man, like that's a linebacker for us now. That's what we're working with. He's either got to throw enough rockets that the receivers learn how to catch him, or he learns to throw something they can. I think that's generally, on a consistent basis that reflects, kind of what I hope will happen. We will see. Let's look at the box score too. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, I got that pulled up too right here. But also, especially in the second half, I think it's good to be mindful that Robbie was dealing with a hand injury. It was very clear from what I could see in some of the coverage on the sideline. They didn't highlight it that much, but there was trainers looking at his hand. So, I don't want to give him excuses, but like if your hand's messed up, it's gonna. And I don't know if it was his right hand. I think it was, but that will definitely affect your throwing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Blue Ridge asked about the Donovan Green unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that they threw at the end. I have no idea. Like they didn't really show a replay. I don't know what happened. I'm sure, he was super hyped up to be playing against his former team. And maybe it was something he said. Maybe it was a little extra, physicality at the end. I don't really know the answer to that.
Hopefully he didn't spit on anybody like they're doing in the
NFL. Yeah, as long as he didn't pull a Jalen Carter and spit on someone, that might get him.
Probably would have gotten ejected. So
yeah, that would get him ejected and potentially suspended. All right, let's look at the team stats here. So the final is 30-23. That brings us to 3-2 overall.
Which I think my, not to brag, but like I think my prediction was like 29-26 or something.
Yeah, dude, the last 2 weeks you've been on fire.
Not too bad.
I was better this week, 28-24, like than I was last week.
Yeah, you were spot on too.
I mean, we were both like right there. We were both like, I got to give us a shout out. And I also need to give myself a shout out for the Maurice Jones-Drew comparison that I made on Wake Nation 21 Wednesday night when talking about the running back gosh, I can't remember his name. I'll pull him up real quick. Who got hurt and it helped us pull out the win? Terry and Stewart. I called him, on Wednesday night. I said, Terry and Stewart really reminds me of this guy that used to play at UCLA and played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Maurice Jones-Drew. And then sure enough, like in the second quarter, they're like, you know who he reminds me of? Maurice Jones-Drew.
Right.
He was my teammate at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I got to give myself a little credit for that.
There you go.
Let's look at so we beat them in first downs. In terms of third down efficiency, neither of us were that great. We were basically the same. They converted one more than us. We were 1 for 1 on fourth downs. They were 0 for 1. We outgained them by, around 80 yards, a little more than that, 84 yards. We outgained them by.
We outpassed them like 256 to 111.
For all the critiques and frustration of how it can feel with Robbie sometimes, the dudes.
They have a good quarterback too. I mean, VT, shout out to them. They're a good team. This was not
absolutely.
I don't want to say another team, but this is a good ACC team.
And Drones had come into the game, they said early he threw 2 interceptions the first game, but since then he had been 8 touchdowns to 1 interception and was averaging, a good 250 passing yards per game on the season. To hold him to 111 passing yards, defense.
Yeah, off a win against NC State,
Yeah, they just beat State, and Robbie 24 for 40, that's maybe 63, 64%, 65, I don't know. 6.4, I'd like to see that go up a little bit. The interception thrown was on a tipped ball, so we don't really know what would have happened if the ball hadn't been tipped. They outrushed us 152 to 91. I think that was a byproduct of Demond going out. I think it was a byproduct of us, not really making an effort in the third quarter to run the ball very much, which is part of the critique of perhaps why this second half trend that, we come out on fire. But it also has to do with Demond Claiborne going down. Ty Clark is a good back and is going to be a very good back. But, he's not Demond. And Demond, it's been shoulder, it's been ribs. And I think this game, it was finally something with his lower body. But you saw him walking around once, on the sideline with his clothes on, not looking like he was dying. But I think it's going to be a theme.
Pushing through, but I don't know.
It feels like
you would think. I would have thought, after that 2-weeker between State and Georgia Tech, they would have got him, healed up a bit more. But they work him so much. It's bang bang.
Scott Jones agrees with you about Racanelli. Racanelli needs to play.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. The way he's
Scott knows the deal.
The way
he's our number 2 receiver.
He snagged like a bullet from Robbie and took it for 60 yards. And he had already made a really, really impressive catch before that.
He showed some decent speed too. After he caught the ball, he got up the field. I mean, he didn't outrun the DBs, but he went for 40 yards, whatever.
And the defense has been stellar for the most part, and I think it's been at its best when it's been aggressive. I think when we blitz, things can go really well for us. Now that might not work against a Haynes King every time because he can dissect the defense a little better, but I think an aggressive perspective from us on the defense, the talent is there for us to take some risks by blitzing. And I hope we do that a little bit more moving forward. The penalties, man. 11 for 85. Like, if we clean up these penalties, that's where I see a lot of potential too. Like,
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, we should have beat despite our penalties. We just beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech despite 11 penalties for 85 yards. I mean, there's there's a lot of potential here. Yeah, let's look at the numbers.
Josh, I want to ask you, so how flat do you think the ACC is this year? And like by that, do I mean are all the teams like pretty even, or like, so to be like in the middle of the pack when you got like a couple of outliers in the distribution that are just like stellar,
Yeah.
is a little bit different than being middle of the pack when the pack is kind of even. So like, I guess my question is like, are there any teams in the ACC this year that like are, I mean, besides Miami, you know, above and beyond that, like that we can't compete with? Like,
I know what you're
I think
saying.
we'll struggle with competing with Miami, but like, I don't know, man. I'm looking at the ACC standings right now, and the three teams that are 2-0 in the conference as of now. There's still games to be played today, obviously, but are Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Duke. Maybe here's the question: are we better than Duke and Virginia?
I don't think there's some huge gap at all between us and them. I think what Scott Jones says right here, if we had a more consistent, and this isn't to throw Robbie under the bus, he's my guy, he's my quarterback, we would be 5-0 and ranked ahead of GT. If so, the basic premise of your question, I would say it's Miami. Florida State is, in terms of talent, pure talent, they're up there too. Like, they're very talented, but I don't think it's to the point that their talent will.
But they lost to Virginia.
Yeah, will overwhelm us.
Right.
Virginia's talent is not such that it will overwhelm us. Duke's is not. There's no one in the ACC except for Miami whose talent will overwhelm the Demon Deacons.
Yeah.
What the key is moving forward for me is Robbie's consistency. The offensive line continue. I thought they had a better game today. I thought Jamarian Kennedy came in and performed admirably when Lely went down. And, it's just that, because for me, the defense, it kind of is what it is, which is very good. It's not good enough that it can shut a team out when the offense stalls, but it's very good. It's very good. It's at least top half of the ACC, if not better, on its own merit. And offensive play calling, I loved it today. And so the execution was the only problem that kept the game even close.
I think our position players are like, if you just do it by like individual talent, I think we have talent in the upper echelon, no doubt. And I agree with Scott that, and you, as you're kind of alluding to it, but it's like, what's the difference between us, winning the majority of the games we have remaining and us maybe winning half of them? I think that it is 4 quarters of solid quarterback play. Absolutely. And Robbie played really well today. I mean, full shout out to Robbie.
Yeah.
Like, he finished it. He finished off. He heard the critiques and it didn't faze him. And he went into a pretty hostile ACC environment and delivered. Yeah. So, like, he gets all the credit in the world after this win. So can he do that every game? for the rest of the season.
Every quarter,
Every quarter, right?
Like the difference between us and Duke is that Darian Mensah, their quarterback, is going to be consistent for 4 quarters in a game. That's to me the only difference.
Right.
And it's not that Robbie can't do that.
Yeah, he's not more talented.
It's just that he's yet to prove that he's been able to do that thus far.
Right. Well, but today should definitely give our fan base, I think, a lot of confidence. At least it gave me a lot of confidence.
It gave me tremendous because
that if he can stay healthy, that we can really make this an excellent season.
Yeah, if we clean up the comedy of errors with the penalties, and Robbie just can hit those layups a couple more times. I don't want him to be perfect, or I would like that, but I don't expect him to be perfect. If he's 20% better than he was today, look out ACC.
Yeah,
because today he was damn good and good enough for us to beat Virginia Tech without Demond Claiborne. I mean, 24 for 39. I forgot that Purdy came in. What happened before that? Because I had stepped out for just a minute.
His helmet came off.
Okay, because
Purdy had a wide open touchdown pass, and
I saw the Purdy.
Yes. The guy was just thinking like, the last thing I want to do is throw a pick when they bring me in for one play. So I don't blame him for it.
I'll give him some slack, but I just had to step out, and then I came back. I was like, "Is Robbie hurt? What has happened?"
Yeah, Falai was wide open in the end zone.
Deshaun, it was ugly, but I still believe Purdy has a lot of talent. Yeah. Rushing the ball, Demond 7 for 29 for a touchdown. It hurts. That's a big factor on, in terms of elite potential. Ty Clark is a good running back. Clements could be a good running back. I think Tate Carney is just needs to be utilized as a power back. But Ty Clark isn't at this point in his career a super back, like a healthy Demond. So I wouldn't mind Demond sitting out for a week or two. I think this team has enough other talent to make up for it if it means that down the stretch he'll be there for us.
Especially against maybe an Oregon State. I don't know how good Oregon State is, but exactly. We'll talk about it this week. But
Oregon State, that's when I want them to sit out. I don't think they're good at all. Yeah. Terrian Stewart, something happened to him. It helped us win this game. That should be acknowledged. We did a good job relatively with drones in terms of about 3 yards per carry. I think exactly 3 yards per carry. Hawkins, he made a little noise with his 11 carries. Chris Barnes, 3 carries for 21 yards. More Chris Barnes, please, and more Racanelli, and more Eni Falai. Those are the 3 right now for me. Chris Barnes, 5 for 21. It seemed like he had more yards than that, but part of that was rushing. Eni Falai, get the dude the ball. I'd like to see some of the targets start to go Racanelli's way.
Less hospital balls for Barnes. Poor
guy.
I'm not loving that. I don't know what Robbie needs to do. If he needs to look at the next read on those screen passes, but he's done that a couple times too.
Yeah, and you're right, Scott. He did still miss wide open players throughout the game. You're right, but he also, if you just look at completion percentage, he also hit a lot of receivers as well, and that's what we're saying. That's the difference. If we're gonna compete and really go for this thing, and the talent level has made me believe that we can have expectations like that. It's a lot of pressure on Robbie, but that's what the quarterback, that's what being a quarterback is about, is taking on that pressure and adapting and finding a way.
And if the defense plays like this, then I mean, it's got to be like that's a lot of pressure off of Robbie. So just step into it and like take advantage of what you're being given.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to win superstar play. Like, just manage the game, make the easy throws, and the rest you've already got figured out. Make the easy throws. Just focus on that this whole entire week. You don't have to worry about anything else.
If there's a huge linebacker coming towards your receiver, do not throw the ball to them.
Right. Like, don't set your guys up for hospital balls, and throw the deep slant is obviously the pass you're struggling with. Work on that with your guys. All right, let's go over defensive stats real quick because I don't want to make this too long.
Yeah.
Devon lit up your boy, Maurice Jones-Drew clone, Terrian Stewart.
Yeah, he did. That was a huge hit. That was awesome.
Now, Stewart took it like a G because like he's built like a tank, but Devon lit his.
Dude, I think Devon's put on some weight too, man. He looked like after he made that hit, I was like, golly, this guy's must have hit the weight room this week.
Yeah, Devon's flying around now. He looks like he's coming into his own. Yeah. Nick Anderson, what else should we expect? He's just the most intelligent and just technically sound tackler for a man of his size that I've really seen in college football in a long time. My dad and I were talking about whether he could play in the NFL. I would not mind the guy being my backup safety in the NFL because I know his football IQ is going to be off the charts. I know he's always going to be in the right place. Now, does he have the deep speed? Yeah, he might get burnt once or twice by an NFL receiver, but everything otherwise, like, I want that guy on my NFL roster. I don't know if he'll get drafted, but I would draft him, and he'll at least get picked up on a.
He's got the Tebow heart.
Yeah, he'll get a UDFA team. He will get a UDFA contract. Like, it's no doubt. Hazen made some plays. Prunty made some plays. We have sacks. We have a Langston Hardy sack.
Yeah, he played really well.
The total of, what are they called? Freaking, I went too far. Where are we? Tackles for loss. I couldn't remember what it's called. We increased our tackles for loss from last game. Like, it was like 3 or 4 last game. We upped that to 7. Only 2 sacks total, but it felt like we were at least getting close to getting home and putting a lot more pressure than we had against Georgia Tech. So just overall stat wise, it was a good game. Like, it was a team win. Like, our kickers and punters, they let us down sometimes. But so it wasn't like true complimentary football, like in the most perfect sense of special teams, offense and defense. But the offense and defense did play enough of complimentary football that we got the win.
Yeah, my key takeaway: we finished. We got the W, and that was really my big question mark because that is big in sports. Like, a lot of time you can have talented players. I've seen a lot of talented players that aren't crunch time players and can't finish. And it's really the X factor, especially in college sports.
Yeah.
So that's something I look for. And the fact that we finished this game off in a hostile environment, VT is not an easy place to play in. Blacksburg is not an easy place to play. Yeah. They have multiple ACC championship trophies, storied history with, coaches and players. So I think it was a great win.
Yeah. The feeling of being like cursed or like a pattern in your team setting in that feels like destructive, that can do something to even the most hardened, grown, professional NFL players, much less a group of 18 to 23-year-old young men. And so just to break through this game and for us to pull out the victory and kind of prove to ourselves, hey, we're not cursed. We can do this shit. Like, sorry for the French. Like, we can do this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what was the motivational video you sent me this morning?
Yeah. It's
You gotta be hungry. It ain't over
gotta be
till I
hungry.
win.
It's not over till I win. You know
And
what I'm saying?
that's the
Shout out.
mentality. That's the mentality moving forward, Deeks. Like, you're out of the dark, and now it ain't over till I win, baby. It ain't over till I
Yeah,
win.
shout out Les Brown for all you
Yeah.
people. You
Shout
know,
out motivational
a
speaker.
little bit, 90s, 90s and 80s, a little
Go
bit.
check out some 80s, 90s Les Brown. It ain't over till the Deeks win. And today it was over with us taking the knees in victory formation. Huge win for the program. All the haters, you can keep hating. You can keep being skeptics about Wake Forest athletics. And you can kiss my grits because I'm going to be enthusiastic. I'm going to take on the Jake Dickert perspective, and I'm going to believe in this team and go with this team.
Yeah.
And actually be a supporter through thick and thin of this team, because I think the players who are putting it on the line, although imperfect as we all are, deserve it for the way they carried themselves, for the way they competed through some really tough things. Last week, the blown call could have broken a lesser group of young men, and it did not break us. It did not break us. We broke it. The theme of this week was, will devastation lead us to prevail or derail? And today we prevailed. So I'm grateful for it.
Let's go. We got the W.
We got the W. We'll see you guys later this week to preview the next game. Is it Oregon State next, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, 10-11. So
yeah, so I hope
3:30 CW Network.
CW, baby. I didn't think I'd get to watch it out here in Arizona, but I got to. So CW, we'll see W.
No more Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Now we watch college sports. Let's go. CW.
CW for life, baby. We'll see W next week, and we'll see you later this week too as well. Thanks everyone for watching. This was a big win. Go Deeks. We're really proud to be doing this. Thank you guys for joining us. Peace out. Any last words, Shane?
Go Deeks. We got the W.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's do it.